Here with the Somerset Patriots, Steven Cusumano joined alongside Yankees left-handed pitcher Brock Selvidge. And, of course, you started the first ever game in a Jersey Diners uniform, so we're going to do this from a diner booth. Why not, right?
Yep, why not?
What's your diner order?
I feel like I'm pretty simple. I'll probably just go an omelet with substitute some egg whites and then maybe some potatoes, and that's it.
Now, you grew up out west in mostly Colorado and Arizona. Where I was in Arizona, there weren't many diners. Were there many diners where you grew up?
No. No, it was the occasional IHOP and a couple of those, I guess, if you want to call those diners, but no, not too much out there.
Yeah, not really. How have you enjoyed Somerset the last year here?
I love it. It's, kind of like the small town where everybody in the town is very Somerset prioritized in terms of like coming to the games and stuff. Like, you go out to eat, you see Patriots gear all over the place, and that's cool. I've never been a part of that, but obviously didn't get to go to college, and just having that kind of like that town atmosphere where everybody's rooting for you, it's really cool.
And thinking about your upbringing in baseball, you grew up mostly in Castle Rock, Colorado. You moved to Chandler, which is my neck of the woods too, and you went to Hamilton High School, which is where Cody Bellinger went to high school. So what was that like, and kind of knowing that there was someone whose footsteps you could sort of follow in front of?
Yeah. I mean, at Hamilton, like, football, baseball, basketball, it's very like elite competition.
Terrell Suggs too.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, he's up on the wall and it's stuff. You walk through those front doors and you see all the athletes who have won the awards and stuff on the wall, and it's crazy. Like, a lot of people refer to the high school that I went to as kind of like a community college. There's just so many people there.
Yep.
So the talent level is elite, obviously, with that many people. But yeah, no, it's great. Have guys like that have been through what you want to go through and are in a position where they're successful, and it's just something to look at and kind of strive for.
And as you said, you pitched well enough to get picked in the third round by the Yankees. What was that day like, getting that call and kind of the process leading up to it?
That was awesome. I was just me and my parents and a few of my friends just sitting on the couch. But yeah, getting that call, I think it was a very, very happy time. But at the same time, it was like, all right, well, that's over with, and now it's time to get to work. So.
And what went into the decision with not going to college, where I think you were going to go to LSU?
Yep.
What went into the decision to forego that and want to be part of the Yankees?
To be honest with you, I think it was more of the fit. Like, LSU's phenomenal, the coaching staff's phenomenal, the campus was amazing when I went there. My dad and I took a trip in 2019, I think, and it blew our minds. And I think I committed 6 months later. But yeah, it was just, my thought process with me and my group was just, if that opportunity presents itself and it's right for my family and I, then we're going to do it. And what better team than the Yankees? So.
It's been a long ride since you've gotten drafted by the Yankees. How much do you feel you've changed as a pitcher from day one?
I think a lot. I think more than on the field, I think it's off the field, just having that, maturity, and you got, coaches around you and ex-players around you that it's just those are minds that you can just feed from and, get advice from, and just every day you're always looking to kind of gain something. I just being a sponge and just soaking up everything that they have to say and everything, all the technology and everything they have to offer. I think it really is mind-blowing when you get into pro ball.
And this past year alone has been a journey for you, because you started in Somerset. You were with us for the entire first half of the season. The Yankees tell you you're going to get invited to the Futures game, and then it was only a few days later you learned about this injury that kept you out until basically last month. So over the last year, what has that kind of roller coaster of emotions been like?
That was tough. I think it was obviously, as the player in the Futures game, it's such a prestigious achievement. I think it was pretty tough, just like the timing of it all. Obviously, it's injuries are never they're inevitable, but you never want them to happen. And just the time that it happened right before the Futures game, right before the All-Star game. Our All-Star break, it wasn't fun. I think that was probably the worst part about it. But at the end of the day, like I said, it was either I can sulk and I can moan and groan about it, or I can come back better than ever and just kind of put my foot down and say, all right, well, that happened, and turn the page.
And you said to us before that was the first injury you've ever pretty much had to deal with. What did that teach you about yourself off the field too? Yeah, no,
the most perseverance I've ever had to go through in terms of baseball. It was a very weird injury. It took a while to kind of pinpoint exactly what it was, and that whole process was pretty stressful. But at the end of the day, I was just looking forward to it, to kind of get resolved and just have that day one of like, all right, now every day from now on, it's time to get one step better every day. So Yeah, no, it was a rough journey, but I think at the end of the day, I think it made me more of a mature man. So.
Well, it's kind of a blessing in disguise because we saw you pitch really well earlier this week against the Seawolves, and you're deploying a curveball now that you told us too you weren't using at this point last year. A new pitch that you kind of worked on while you were rehabbing down at the Tampa complex.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like a new toy to use, and I think just like anything else, it's just the repetition of it is going to get it better. So the more I throw it, the better it's going to get, and more comfortable I'm going to be throwing that pitch. But yeah, just having another pitch in the arsenal. Like I was telling you guys, it's just one more pitch the hitters have to worry about, and if I can execute it, how I want to, then it's going to go well for me, and it'll be successful.
How would you describe the way it is pitching at Double-A? What's different pitching Double-A versus different levels of baseball?
Personally, I would just say, you can go through analytics and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's the hitters are more selective, hitters are better, and obviously playing a full season, you see a lot of prospects at this level. But you just got to, you can't treat anybody any different. You got to pitch to your strengths, know what works for you, and pitch. You can't treat a guy like he's Barry Bonds. It's a one-on-one every time somebody steps in that box. So as many one-on-ones that you can win, you'll be successful.
Well, you're one of those guys that's always really fun to watch on the mound because you're fired up, you're emotional, you're passionate on the mound. Have you always been like that? How did that kind of come to be for you?
Yeah, I really do think it's back to my dad and I was talking about this. I think it's just the football, Brock. I think I grew up playing football. It was probably my main sport until probably right before high school, and it was just, I think it's just that just the aggressive mentality of when somebody gets in there, it's like that hitter's trying to take your job, I'm going to take that hitter's job, and it's a one-on-one, and I trust myself against anybody. So I'm never going to go into something, not feeling confident. So I think, when I'm out there, it's less of like aggressive, like mad, like it's just I'm having fun. It's just kind of me being in my element, and a lot of my teammates, and I talk, and it's I'm definitely a different person off the field than I am on the field. I feel like I'm nice off the field, but I think when I get on the field, it's just kind of lock in game time mode, and I'm out there to win a baseball game. So, who
were some of the players and teams you grew up watching and kind of modeling yourself off growing up?
I always say Max Scherzer's mentality. Like when he's on the mound, like you're not going to beat him. Like he's 40 years old right now, shoving in the big leagues. I know he just came back, but like that's a guy that when he gets on the mound, like you're going to trust him in any situation, and that's how I see myself. Like I want to be on the mound in the biggest spots. I want to take the ball when our team most needs it, when we need to get some outs, need to get a win, no matter what situation that is. Just big time situations. I try and be fierce in those big time situations.
Now, since you joined the Yankees, there's obviously an incredible group of pitchers and even left-handed pitchers with this organization that you've had the chance to learn from. Since your time from the start of when you were drafted to now, who are some of those guys you've learned from, and what have you learned from them?
Honestly, like I think it just goes back to day one. My first pitching coach in rookie ball. Actually, my coaching staff was Brett DeGagne, Preston Claiborne, and Sergio. So,
not bad.
and it's funny because I've known Sergio for a while now, and just having him be my first professional head coach, and he's a stud all throughout his whole career. So, and he's a fun guy to be around. He's always going to fight for you. I think it's just a group of everybody. I got to work with just Andy Pettitte and stuff a little bit, just hearing him talk and just kind of feeding off of him, the incredible career he had, and CC's in spring training, and those are just guys. All you can do is just be a sponge and learn what you can, because those are role models in the game of baseball, top to bottom. So there's nothing bad you can't learn from them.
Andy Pettitte's one of those guys. I feel like when we're watching you pitch, we compare you to him a little bit, and just the mechanics and the delivery. What were you able to learn from him?
Honestly, for him, like I'll never forget. It was I was throwing live BP last spring training before that breakout game, and I was throwing to our big league team, and he was right behind the L screen behind me, and he's like, "Listen, like you just gotta trust your stuff. Throw it in the zone. Like you're here for a reason. So once you show everybody you command those pitches, like everything's gonna play off it. So it's just be aggressive, be competitive in every single pitch, win every pitch, and you're going to be successful. The game of baseball, it rewards you if you're consistent and you consistently stick to your plan. So,
advice must have worked, because the breakout game, you went 4 innings, 8 strikeouts, first team all-spring breakout. That was the first time I saw you pitch, and I was impressed. What did you feel going out there that day?
I mean, it was obviously exciting, getting to represent the Yankees and in that accolade. Obviously, it was the first spring breakout game. But like I said, I think it's just like any other game. I don't treat any game differently. You go in to win. You're not chasing strikeouts or chasing, numbers, on the iPad. I just go and try and win the game. That's all it is. If the more wins we can have, the clubhouse is happy, and our team's obviously thriving. So,
well, looking ahead now, what are the goals for the remainder of this season? Obviously, you're back healthy at the point where you became injured at this point last year. What are your goals through now from the end of the season?
Yeah, I think I'm 4 starts in, and obviously rehabbed and missed the last half of last year. So, for a lot of guys, this is we're almost to that halfway point. Not for me, I'm just getting started. Like this is purely, I had 4 starts. I'm still knocking the rust off, and it's only up from here. I'm just getting started. So.
You were here this week when Spencer Jones got called up after his huge walk-off hit. For you to just be around him for the last year and to see him get rewarded like that after such a dramatic and emotional moment, what is that like, understanding that could be you in the not-too-distant future?
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a good team guy, good clubhouse guy, everything. It's cool to see that. And, when he got called up with the cameras in there, it was a really cool atmosphere. We're all happy for him. Obviously, you look and you're like, people can say I want that to be me one day. Like at the end of the day, I'm just going to take it day by day. If I'm pitching well enough, if I'm going out there competing, shoving, then that'll be me. But I'm not going to look too far in the future for that. So.
Well, it's been super fun to watch from our seat. We're excited to see you going forward, and appreciate your time today, of course, and best of luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.